Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Celia Ko. And we're going to be discussing her amazing book, Stop Using Your Mind. Get healthier and happier in 7 days using meditation and diet. Now it's available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the regular online resellers. Type it into a search bar, man. You're going to find all of it. But if you want to gather everything that Celia has in store, check out her personal site. That's stopusingyourmind.com. There, you're going to gather more information on her, on this book, hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing pages. Man, I'm telling you, it's a one-stop shop. Stopusingyourmind.com is where you have to go to gather it all. And I quickly want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that Celia was brought to us by one of the best publishing firms in the business, City of Books. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process, head on over to cityofbooks.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help move your creative endeavors. People, what if everything you've been taught about thinking your way to happiness is wrong? And listen, that's a powerful question, okay? We're going to dive into some things, because during today's discussion, once you pick up this book, Stop Using Your Mind, Celia challenges our obsession with overanalysis and offers a radical yet simple path to freedom. One that bypasses the mind to unlock true joy, health, and peace. I'm telling you, man, it blends meditation, diet, and yoga. And her method isn't about silencing your thoughts, right? It is about stepping beyond them to live fully. Man, sit back and strap in, because today we're about to take a deep dive into why letting go of mental control might be the key to everything you've been searching for. Celia, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Hi, Benji. Thank you very much for having me here.
Of course. Well, Celia, thank you very much for being here. I'm telling you, man, this is something special, and I know a lot of my listening audience members are going to gravitate towards the messages found in this book. Let's dive right in. Find out a little bit more about yourself. Right? I think that's a good foundation to start with. Tell us more about your background, Celia.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I tell people I wanted to be one of the best gymnasts in the world from a very young age, maybe people will be very interested to know my story.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in China. I have 3 sisters. And at the age of 7, I was appointed by the Chinese government to be a gymnast. In America, parents often put their children in things like gymnastics or dance or sports to give them the opportunity to learn what they wanted to do with their life. This was not what gymnastics was for me. I was being trained to be one of the best gymnasts in the world from a very young age.
Wow.
I think this is one of the first time in my life I remember experiencing true hardship. After a few years of this gymnastic training, my family was able to move to Hong Kong, and I finished my elementary, middle, and high school in Hong Kong, and then I attended college, both in Taiwan and in Hawaii. I love literature and art. I received my bachelor degree in fine arts and master degrees in religion from the University of Hawaii. I got married, and I have a son. His name is Anderson, who is now 32 years old, and he is living in Los Angeles right now. I'm a watercolor and oil painter and a published author in Chinese. I have served as the treasurer and vice president of the Hawaii Chinese Writers Association, which is a non-profit organization established since 1997.
Mm-hmm.
I also serve as the vice president of another nonprofit organization named Realizing Your Will, which offers meditation and yoga classes to members twice a week. And I'm also a self-employed business owner for the past 34 years. And I'm a realtor and also owns an auto repair business in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Celia, I want to dive into inspiration next because, listen, given the varied and very accomplished background, I'm curious to know, where does writing fit into all this? What inspired you to write this book?
Well, I love to tell stories since I was a kid, and I love to write diaries. Mm-hmm. And my friends always encouraged me to write, and I began as a writer 28 years ago in Hawaii. There were a group of Chinese writers, university professors, and PhD students majoring in Chinese literature who grouped it together to form the Hawaii Chinese Writer Association. And the mission is to promote publication of literary works in Chinese by writers living in Hawaii, and to promote Chinese culture regardless of political, religious, and ethnic backgrounds, and to promote and exchange literary publications with Chinese writers throughout the world. I started to write short stories and prose and have had the honor of being published in Chinese literature magazines such as the Hong Kong Literature. And that was how I became a writer.
Celia, without further ado, let's jump right in. Stop using your mind. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
Okay, sounds great. Well, since I was young, I was very stressful because I was a gymnast. I have to train every single day.
Yeah.
My family treated me like a boy, and I was born into a very, very traditional Chinese family. And my parents, my relatives, and my grandparents thought that I should be a boy. Why a girl, And my parents thought that they were looked down upon only because I was not a boy and they didn't have a son. I always blamed myself to be the cause of their hardship and sufferings. I first ran away from my father in my teenage years. I flew to Taiwan by myself from Hong Kong, only to be called back home to the family after my father had a heart attack, even though I was not his favorite child. I was the only one who could run his business for him and support the family at that time. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I had to finish my last 2 years of high school. I had already faced much hardship in my young life, and I was searching for peace. It has always been my goal to live a peaceful life. And until many, many years later, I started to do meditation, which has changed my life entirely. And I just use myself as an example to let people know it is your right to live a happy, healthy, and pain-free life. Mm-hmm. I share my simple formulas, combining meditation, yoga, and diet to help people to get out of their head and into their life. Yeah, so the book tells a lot of other things. I talk about the importance of sleep by knowing your organs, which acts as the biological clock hidden in the body. If you listen to your body, you will begin to feel it. And I also talk about the color of food and how to use the 5-color rule for your diet. The 5 colors are the green for your liver, the red food for your heart, the yellow food for your spleen, the white food for your lungs, the black food for your kidney. And then I also talk about the difference between sleep and meditation. And meditation can be even more healing than deep sleep. Meditation can lead to an improved mood, better memory, greater clarity of thoughts, and a stronger ability to focus. And then I also talk about the 7 motion of yoga. The history of this series of movements goes back more than 1,003 years ago.
Wow.
The goal of this series of movement is to elevate the lateral qi, which is the yin and yang balanced energy in your body, so that you can live in optimal health every day. And because the book will tell you why meditation will transform your life if you allow yourself to stop using your mind, and calming your thoughts and focusing on your breath will bring a sense of calm and peace to your day. Everything you see, you feel, you touch, you taste, and you experience is done so through the lens of your thoughts. If those thoughts are consistently filled with worry, anger, and anxious, that is how you experience your world. And that was also how I lived my life before I knew how to do meditation.
People, I'm telling you, this is a book that you need to add to your shelf. Again, it's called Stop Using Your Mind. Get healthier and happier in 7 days using meditation and diet. Celia Ko is a name to be remembered, and is definitely a force to be reckoned with. You got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, stopusingyourmind.com, and pick up your copies today. You know, Celia, a great segue that you've established, because the next point that I want to go to is your title. I think it plays perfectly into what you've already been discussing. And listen, no one can deny how provocative it is, right? Stop using your mind. It's almost counterintuitive, right? It almost goes against everything that we've been taught. You're instructing people to step out of their mind, right? Step away from the thoughts. I'm curious to know, listen, in a world that prizes constant thinking and analysis, you're going against that. And I think that is something very intriguing. So I'm curious to know what inspired that particular title.
Yes, I will tell you now. The reason why I chose this title was inspired by the meditation practice of mindfulness, and also by the deepest level of meditation one can achieve, which is samadhi in Sanskrit. In samadhi, your brain activity stops completely. It is very hard to stop using your mind. My friends always ask me, if they don't use their mind, what do they use? I told them that it is human habit to look back at the past and imagine the future, which creates uncertainty and stress about the present moment. In the book, you will find out that you can understand your brain and train it to work optimally in every situation you face in life. For most of us, this means knowing how to quiet your mind and eventually try to put an end to your stressful thoughts in order to gain greater clarity, strength, and overall growth. Mindfulness is being aware of one's internal space and surroundings. Mindfulness can help people avoid destructive or automatic habits and responses by learning to observe their thoughts, emotions, and other present moment experiences without judging or reacting to them. And if you can achieve the deepest level of meditation, which is samadhi, your brain activity stops completely, and which is the highest level of achievement in meditation.
Well, Celia, I'm curious to know, during this writing process, I want to know your experience writing it and how you were able to get out of your mind in order to put the words on the page. Talk to us about this experience.
Okay. Yeah. So when people ask me, how do I stop using your mind? Since I'm a painter, so I use my painting experiences to tell them. Whenever I paint, actually, the painting experience is kind of like meditation. You're in a meditation mode when you are doing your painting. So, for example, when I look at the clock, I look at the clock and I start my painting at 9 a.m. So I start painting, and then I do my painting out of my deep thoughts. It's not like using my mind. And then when I look at the clock again, I find out it is 5 p.m. already. And time to me is kind of like, oh my goodness, it's 8 hours or 9 hours, but I feel like it's only 15 minutes. That kind of experience, I don't know whether people can understand it, but if they can do meditation, they can practice. The more they practice, the more they will find that it works that way.
Love that.
So about my experience in writing this book, you mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had wonderful experiences in writing this book. I first finished reading 14 books that were written and published by my Buddhist master, Master Xu Wanxing in China. I learned a lot from reading his books on how to do meditation and yoga. And since I get benefits from doing meditation, yoga, and having a good diet, I just share what I experience in my life.
Yeah.
And I also have my nonprofit organization members who were willing to share their experiences with me while I was writing this book. They gave me a lot of input by providing their own life stories on how meditation and yoga have helped them to live a happier and healthier life.
Yeah. You know, Celia, listen, we have discussed a lot of information here today. Thank you so much for the gems you've been able to give. Are there anything else? I mean, other things that you would like us to know about the book?
Yes. So I want people to know that if actually you can be your own fortune teller in terms of your health. Since people are very anxious about the condition of your health, by reading my book, you'll understand if you want to have a good health, the first thing you need to do is to understand how each organ controls your emotional feelings. Say, for example, if you don't have a good liver, you will have a short temper and get angry easily because your liver controls your emotional feeling of anger. And with a good heart, you will feel happy easily, and you'll learn that your heart controls stress, your liver controls anger, your spleen controls worry, your lungs controls grief, and your kidney controls fear. And there are times of days when you should rest, sleep, eat, and drink. By knowing how each of your organs works at a specific time within 24 hours, you do better in arranging your time and activities in a daily life. And this is how you follow the energies of the sun and the moon and the universe to live.
A two-parter here with this, but follow me now. Who would you say, first and foremost, is your intended reader? And what would you like them to take from the book upon completing it?
I think everybody who is now facing different kinds of emotional stress or anxiety and who wants to get better. And anybody who wants to be happier and healthier could be my audience. And the biggest message is to take action. If you just read the book and don't take action to practice, it doesn't really help you to change anything.
Yeah.
You will have a new life from taking the first step and keep going if you want to be happier and healthier in 7 days. Just try 7 days and see whether it works. Yes.
Yeah, listen, people, try 7 days, but go even further than that. Okay, that's just the start. This book is incredible, man. It is the precipice to a new life for you, to freedom that we've all been searching for, been yearning for, and a lot of us didn't even know that we needed. Once again, it's called Stop Using Your Mind, and I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to do just that. Because if you're like me, man, sometimes you overthink. You are an overthinker. You're an over-analysis person. You look at things from every single aspect. Well, sometimes you gotta put those thoughts to rest and allow yourself to live fully. And this book is gonna help you do just that. Celia Ko, like I mentioned, is the name you need to remember. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's stopusingyourmind.com. Head on over there today and get lost in this amazing book. Celia, this has been a true pleasure, okay? An absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you so much, Benji. The pleasure is mine. Thank you.